But one mustn't forget that it was not just a question of putting hell forward, but also putting heaven forward. If hell was the stick, heaven was the carrot. And in the case of Buddhism, there are also heavens, and one must say, in the case of some popular Buddhist teaching, the Buddhist hells were no doubt dangled, in front of the noses of the faithful, like so many carrots. Again, the teaching of heaven, though one might say true in principle, could be utilized as a technique of social control in much the same way. But it doesn't seem to work, very much now. It didn't work all that well, even at that time, it would seem.
I suppose what it's meaning is if you beat people in a sense to try and control them, you usually inspire the opposite of what you actually aim to
I don't think one can generalize to that extent. I mean, in the case of certain people, that might be the reaction. See, some people are more cussed than others. But, some people would just be overwhelmed, just be annihilated, as it were. I think the particular reaction would depend very much on the individual. Sometimes, of course, you just try to circumvent. And, of course, the church in the Middle Ages did provide all sorts of ways of circumventing, because you could confess, you could do penance. But I think nowadays very few people have an actual fear of hell in the West, but I think there's still a sort of uncomfortable feeling. People aren't too sure about it. There might be something in it. And hell often seems to loom rather larger than heaven, as it did in the case of Samuel Johnson, for instance. He wasn't even brought up as a Catholic, he was brought up as a member of the Church of England, but by a mother with rather Calvinistic inclinations. And he was terrified of going to hell all through his life. Though he led a rather conspicuously good life, one would have thought. Anyway, perhaps that's enough about hell for the time being.